Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Sporting160EN podcast. This is podcast number 109. We got a very special guest with us today. Before I turn to him, let me quickly go to my panel, starting off with my man, Christian. Christian, how are you doing today, dude?
I'm doing all right. We were just on the other day, so not much. I guess the only big news it doesn't. I guess it somewhat implies Sporting, but yeah, we'll get into that.
The bombshell for sure.
Yeah.
Also joined with Sam. Sam, how are you today, bro?
I got my hair cut. I know people were slating for me having such long hair, but like I came prepared. So, but other than that, yeah, good. Thank you for Bruno for giving his time and Marco too. Really appreciate it.
We got friend of the show back, Marco. Marco, how's it going, dude?
I'm doing good, man. Fantastic. How was your day?
Great as always. And last but not least, of course, we're joined by a very special guest, former director at Sporting Clube de Portugal, and in charge of the nucleos at Sporting. We're joined, of course, by Mr. Bruno Mascarenhas. Bruno, how are you today?
Thank you for the invitation. I feel great. Thank you.
That's great. Great to hear. Without further ado, let's. I think we should jump in right into the biggest talking point of the day. I don't know who wants to. Christian, I don't know if you want to take it away first or not, dude, but you're muted.
I think that most people probably have, the same thoughts as me. Not in support of this. Just it's a money grab by the owners of these already wealthy clubs. Who are already massively privileged in the current system. They are not satisfied with that and want even more. I know that Bruno himself, or Bruno de Carvalho, former president, I should say, when he was on our pod, even said himself that, this is something that he's heard whispers about and talked about. And, I myself had heard that with those whispers and stuff too, but I never expected, just the sudden announcement in the way that it was. Yeah, just it's shocking that it actually came to fruition. I thought it was always just going to be this lingering rumor, but it's real.
Facts. And Bruno, I have to ask, what are your thoughts on everything that's going on with this European Super League? Where do you stand with it? And yeah, overall, what are your thoughts?
I think he's muted.
Yeah, I think he's
I was trying to unmute him, and I think he's a little down right now. We'll just give him a few seconds to come
someone
back.
Someone else you want to tell us what you thought about Sam?
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult because I do understand the sort of need for reform, but like the way they're going about it is completely the wrong way. I think in most countries they should take off of what of like democracy and having the fans decide, because there's no way fans will push this through. But Bruno, if you have any thoughts on it, if you want to give it a go.
Well, I just hope the connection stays still. Well, as I was saying, I believe that, and I've met personally some of the presidents of these clubs, Mr. Florentino Perez and the president of Juventus, Agnelli. I know that they are pushing hard in order to obtain the maximum of income for the clubs, but at the same time, I wonder how they expect to play on a closed league, and they want the best of both of the worlds. So they want to play nationally, and they want to play internationally on a closed league, and that is absolutely unfair. So if they want to go forward with this, probably they have to step aside and not play nationally. Actually, this afternoon, the most of them won by Porto the European Cup in 1987, but they were suspended and did not play. And I believe that the Portuguese Federation, and as others federations, for example, the Germans are apart. The English, the FA said that they are not subscribe this situation, as well as the Italians, and I believe the Spanish. I mean the federation, the football federation. So at the end of the day, I think what they want to get is to guarantee that they stay permanently in the Champions League, and most of the income that comes from the Champions League goes to them. It's because I don't see how they're going to move forward with this.
So you don't realistically think this will happen? Do you think this is more? I also heard today a lot of this is more of a bargaining chip for them to sort of get their way in terms of this new Champions League structure. Do you see that more so happening, or do you really think that this European Super League is actually going to happen?
It seems that UEFA got an agreement saying that some clubs that do not qualify by the national championship can have their access due to their historical ranking. So this is a way, for example, AC Milan is one of those clubs that historically, and Ajax, I believe, that sometimes do not qualify to the Champions League, and by this way of creating the 36 clubs instead of 32, these 4 teams they would have access by their historical ranking, even if they don't have national results. So this is a way to, more or less, this is already a closed league. If you verify, most of the teams that arrive to the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League are there every single year. There are very few that are not from the best leagues, and especially when you get to this final stage of the event, it's almost the same teams.
Yeah,
so they gather all the money for them for the last 10 years.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Only every now and again will you see like Leonardo Jardin's Monaco in the semis. Porto this year, even making it to the quarters, was a good accomplishment. Marco, I'll pass off to you. I don't know if you have a question for Bruno.
Yes, I do. About this, I know that I listened to a little bit of the program you did earlier on, Bruno, and and you touched on about your thoughts what the Portuguese Liga should become to get stronger and have teams be able to be much better internationally than we do now. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, you see, I'm going to give you an example of 2 teams that are considered 2 good teams of our league, but the infrastructures and the supporters are, well, they for example, Moreirense, which is, I know them well. They have a very good board, very good people. They know exactly what they're doing. And let's say, for example, Tondela. So if you want to sell the Portuguese league internationally, that is not a very interesting game because it's a very local game. But if you give them money, if they have money to build, to increase their stadium, to attract better players, to attract viewers for this game, and you have a 12,000 or 15,000 stadium packed, that is a game that can be sold internationally. So what I defend is that it is not possible. We are a small country with few people, and the ticket prices are very high. So what we should do is decrease the number of clubs. If we decrease the number of clubs, we have more money to distribute, and at the same time, we can. And the idea is this: with the centralization of the TV rights, that will occur in a few years, which I think it's already too late. We should be doing it right away. For example, the Premier League have done it 30 years ago, or more than 25 years ago.
Every American sport does it. Yeah, we're behind.
No,
Yeah.
all the major leagues, the Spanish, the German, the British, the French, the Italian, all of them have do this for several years. Unfortunately, the fault was of Benfica. Benfica in 2015 did a bypass and wanted to negotiate directly with one of the biggest platforms here of television in Portugal. We are losing time. We're losing time, and we need to give more money to the smaller clubs so that they'll increase their competitiveness and to create our championship more attractive with other infrastructures, because you're not interested in watching a game where you have a stadium with 2,000 or 3,000 people and with just 1,000 spectators. You want to see a stadium with 10,000, 15,000 and packed. That is you want to see warmth, you want to see heat on the stands. So I believe that if we have the power to decrease the number of clubs on the first league, give also some money to the clubs of the second league. The TV rights for a club on second league is 600,000 euros, which is nothing. A team that wants to go up needs at least 1.52 million. So it's the teams that go up have that's the type of budget. It's very, very difficult, and the what you need have less clubs but stronger clubs. And if you have this, probably you'll have like 6 to 8 big good clubs of Portugal that can compete internationally at European level, not only in Champions League but also Europa League and the new competition that will start next season, which is the Confederations Cup.
Mm-hmm. Christian, Sam, I'll pass it to you guys next, I promise. On this point, do you think that's even possible, Bruno? Seeing as we're a country, or Portugal's a country where you really only support 3 teams. I mean, I look at a team like Setúbal last season, historic team in terms of Portuguese football, barely any fans in the stand. We also have, of course, a difficult situation in Belenenses, and we currently have a Belenenses SAD. I mean, I don't see many fans, even with money being pumped into them, going out to supporting that team. You know, we have Santa Clara in Açores, which I don't see a lot of fans going to those games as well, unless one of the big 3 go to the islands. Is that possible even with the money? Or does the mentality of the Portuguese fan also have to change as well, you think? Or do you think with more money that'll happen?
Can I piggyback? Can I just say something on that, Bruno? You talked about I'm sorry, Danny. You talked about infrastructures. But right now, you look at Portugal. We have how many Euro stadiums that with no teams in the first division? And I think
for example.
Leiria, Portimão, right? How many are there that don't have first division teams right now, Bruno?
I mean, Beira-Mar, who just went to the Distritais, is another one.
Algarve Stadium, no one. It's not anyone's home. Yeah,
and Aveiro.
It's 3. It's at least 3.
Aveiro.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I lost a bit. So you were saying, I know already the question. Okay. First of all, ticket prices are very expensive for our reality. Okay, so there is a lot of speculation in pricing of the tickets. But what concerns me the most is the timetable of the games. If you want to see the top teams, here the broadcaster with Sport TV only puts those games at night, so you don't have families watching the games. You don't really have women watching. They have few children. They cannot have access to the games, and this creates that these people only men go to games. So women and children are necessary because in the future they are more spectators. You need those people to create the environment of the game. And unfortunately, my one of my I discussed this on Liga de Clubes on the General Assembly, and I spoke to some representatives of clubs. We need to have the games in the afternoon, as in the past. My father, who used to take me to the games, Sporting would play at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. So after the game, we could go home, have dinner, and even if we have classes in the following day. It is not possible for a child that is at school to attend the game at 8 that ends at 10 and is tired on the following day, and we don't want this. So there are several reasons, and we need to put the games earlier, and with this we have more spectators and a more attractive football. And of course the prices cannot stay as they are. They are very expensive for our financial reality.
That's a good point. Christian, I don't know, you or Sam.
Sam, you can go because I have a question off this topic, so you can round out this topic with another question if you have one.
Yeah, cool. So it was just announced today that I know you were talking about the financial aspect of the Portuguese league, but it announced today that the French Federation and the Portuguese Federation are swapping referees, I believe, starting next season. Do you feel like that's good for the league? I know a lot of fans like to criticize referees and perhaps sometimes unfairly, but what do you think of this this news?
Well, I don't agree that much. I have to say. I was one of the most decisive defenders of the video referee assistant. It takes time. It takes time to implement. We are experimenting every day new situations due to technology. For example, for me it's unacceptable that a goal of Sporting was disallowed for 2 centimeters. But these are the new things that are happening that but technology can solve. Okay. Of course, Portuguese referees are hired to go to Saudi Arabia and other countries for to be a referee, but it's different. We can, and we have very good referees here in Portugal. We are renewing the group of referees. We have young men that are arriving, and even women that are arriving, and they have quality. So I don't think we should mix. But at the same time, we also know how the press is, and it seems our former president is not anymore. They say that he was the problem of the Portuguese football, and so we continue to see the same problems. That we continue to see the clubs arguing with each other, and he's not there anymore. pressure that exists on the referees.
Cool. Chris, do you want to take it away?
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. So my question is it has more so to do with your work with Sporting directly while you were the director of the nucleos and the foreign relationships with Sporting. Yeah, I just was this is something we had talked about on the pod when we had a representative from Den of Lions or Lar dos Leões in New Jersey on probably about a month ago, Andre Marx. So I tried to get answer to this. I know you know the answer. You hold the key. What is the difference between a núcleo, a delegação, and a filial?
Filial is in the past clubs, and we're talking about the early 20s, 30s of the 20th century, when this started. Clubs wanted to be part of the family, though they are completely apart from Sporting. So there is no possibility for example, Braga, Sporting Clube de Braga, they wrote a letter to get out of the family. Sporting Clube Tomar is the first filial. Sporting Clube Farense is number 2, and so many others. They are okay. When, for example, I've been in the 100th anniversary of the filial Sporting Tomar. Sporting is invited, but sometimes the members of this club have a connection with Sporting. But I've seen, for example, Sporting Tomar, Sporting Farense have people from Benfica in front of the clubs. So they have no connection with us except historical relationship. The delegations were created as a front office of the club. In the past, there was no internet connection, so they have someone there in order to collect the membership fees and other aspects of the club. And nucleos are, by definition, club members that gather and represent the club on their on where they live or where they work. What we did we terminated with Expression Sportingista, Núcleo Sportingista. We wanted to be a real embassy of Sporting. Nucleos today are a real embassy recognized by the club. And that's why our núcleo do Sporting, and then we say of where they are based. Okay, so the difference is delegation today is if you want to say, Marco, maybe you can help me to translate. É princípio do núcleo. It's like a beginning. The delegation today is a beginning of a núcleo. Okay, you just need 5 members of Sporting. Okay, just 5, which they nominate one, and this person represents that delegation through into the club. So it's a point of contact with the club. And then the idea is that in 2 years you can evolve and become a núcleo, or renew again the delegation. So to say, if you are, for example, Danny, where are you based?
I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Okay. For example, in Toronto, we don't have a núcleo. We have a filial.
Yeah.
We have a filial. Sporting Clube Portuguese de Toronto. That's it.
Toronto, yeah.
So
right behind my house, by the way. It's not that far away.
Well, for example, if you want to create, you just need to gather 4 other members of Sporting, okay, and then you can create a delegation. You will send. You'll say, okay, our purpose is to create a núcleo within 2 years. We're going to make several activities. We're going to have a dinner, raise funds in order to create a nucleo. Okay, so and then Sporting will say, Danny, okay, you can represent us. And with this, we have many dots throughout the world. That was my idea, is to spread Sporting throughout the world, because it's much more easier to create rather than just have a nucleo. Nucleo, you need to have at least 50 members, and then they will elect their representatives, and those representatives are at least 11. So it's much more difficult to create a nucleo than a delegation. So I advise you to spread the word and create delegations.
So I have a follow-up question to that, both as far as the election system and our democracy at Sporting. I know that Sporting's nucleos, and there's no voting directly through the nucleos, but I think at Benfica there is. So I guess, could you clarify how the voting and democracy system works currently, and how, in your eyes, that can be improved to have the most participation, the most democratic system we could possibly have, which, not to say is something that I think the current administration will move swiftly to input, but just in theory, what you think should be done.
Well, Christian, I tried to, unfortunately, we left before our mandate ends. First of all, what we did was to create uniformization of the logos and of the rules of each nucleo. Okay. Then the next step was this: as soon Sporting has the members of the nucleus are all members of Sporting, at least their board. At least they are all members of Sporting. So those people, we have total trust and confidence that they will not do something against the club or against the other members. So what we did is, first, to create rules for everybody vote in nucleus. For example, why don't we put Marco?
You're back now. You're back.
Okay, Marco.
Could you
how
repeat
do
the
we
last,
say?
like, 30 seconds? It cut out for like 30 seconds, and I don't want to miss this answer.
Okay, Marco, how do we say caderno eleitoral?
Caderno eleitoral. Ooh, electoral college.
Yeah. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is no. Why don't we have, for in every area, and there is this possibility that all the members can vote locally, instead of having to go to Lisbon to vote. We have all that is necessary to implement, as well as Benfica did in the last elections. But what they did is what we are defending for several years from this. I believe that it is absolutely possible. What I don't agree, except for certain cases, which is in your case, the internet voting. I think it's dangerous. The internet voting is dangerous. You don't know that, for example, Christian, Danny, Sam, that your vote is in actually ended correctly. You cannot verify. It's not possible to verify. So it can be adjusted, and everything that can be adjusted is not democratic. So what I think we can do is send a representative to every corner of Portugal, and eventually there is a possibility, for example, in Toronto, we have a consulate. What is Christian? What is the nearest consulate of yours?
There's a Portuguese consulate in Newark as well.
There's one in New Bedford as well.
He's slowly coming back.
We need some 5G up in here.
Huh? Ah, fuck.
He'll be back.
And
He'll be
there
back.
we go.
Oh, he's back. Okay, he's back.
So what were you saying, Bruno, about the consulates?
No, what I'm saying is that it is possible to create a protocol between Sporting and the Portuguese Foreign Office in order that these members of the club can go when they are abroad. They can go and vote on those locations. That is what that is one of the things that I defend. In Portugal, it's very easy, but abroad it can be done, especially in the United States, Canada, and in certain locations of Europe as well.
Agreed. Because even the current thing we have for us, at least, a sausage based in North America, is we send the vote in and we pray it gets there in time.
It's a complete joke. The letters often arrive after the election's passed. Like the election will be August 14th, and the letter will arrive on August 30th, and you're like, okay, even if I mailed this back, it would still take a week or two. Like,
that doesn't. It costs a lot of money. It costs to the club a lot of money to send those letters throughout the world. It costs a lot of money,
and they're just wasting money anyways if they're just not even able to vote anyways. So you wasted the money, and you didn't even allow them to vote. So double whammy.
No, it's frustrating and doesn't work. And I unfortunately, I was hoping that this new board would implement for the next elections in March 2022. But I don't see if that is possible. Hopefully, if we can, in one of the next general assemblies, maybe this can be approved. But for now, I don't see that it will be possible. Unfortunately, once again, 4 more years have passed and nothing was done.
Right.
Actually, I wrote and I made I gave this to the club. I made my suggestions. How would it work? It was written in Leonino. On that publication, Leonino, if you check, you can see what I defended, and I wrote down exactly step by step how this could be done.
I got a question leading up to that, Bruno. Do you, with some people, have any thoughts of being candidates again for Sporting? I surely hope so.
Well, Marco, it's a tricky question. It's a tricky question because Sporting is a passion, and when you spend this time in the club, especially on my case, so many things were still to do, and so bases were created, and then suddenly the project was off. I'm not thinking about this. I think I've already spent almost 6 years in the club. It was one of the best moments of my life, I have to say. But I'm for now, maybe I can give support to others, but it's time for others to come. Everybody knows that I'm an opposer to this president. I absolutely hope that Sporting wins the championship, and I'm pretty much looking forward that this happens. But nevertheless, I think he coach. He is the coach brother-in-law, which is also, and that's it. And that's it. He forgets that the players, the youngsters that are there were made when we were there. The culture of victory was implemented when we were there, and he doesn't recognize this, which is sad, because the club is just one, and we should be all pushing to one side. But it seems that he doesn't. He forgets the work that was done, and especially the money that was left there, which is also very important.
Just
Exactly.
to follow up, it's unfortunate because I know there's a lot of work that was left to be done, and Sporting was heading in the right direction, in my opinion. I hadn't seen Sporting that strong probably since I was a kid, probably the 80s, and since our old president is Ron Rocha. So hopefully, some of the people will come back and finish the project you guys started, because I mean that's, in my opinion, especially now with this new direction that the world soccer is going to, we need a strong Sporting, united Sporting, and I don't think this Varandas and Companier will ever be able to unite Sporting again the way you guys did in your 6 years there.
Well, Mark, I would just like to say another thing. There are two concepts of club. Our concept is that all are made part of the club. The less rich, the more rich, everybody. So we are one big international club with 3.5 million supporters. And each one of us is a part of the piece. Okay? And then this group of people that are on top of the club today, they consider the club is theirs. And we the people, we are just to clap and pay and nothing else.
Along for the ride.
We do not participate. I'm sorry for saying this. I don't know if some of you are supporters of the current board.
You're free to speak your mind.
My point of view,
you're free to speak your mind.
Is Sporting is ours. It's not theirs. It's not for a group of people. It's for everybody.
Agreed.
That's what I feel.
So I kind of have a follow-up to this, and then we can get off the politics topic. But one last politics question. Just an observation that I've had, since 2018, I mean, obviously there was a very tightly contested election between João Benedito and Varandas. Came down to the wire, and then pretty much after that, João Benedito kind of just vanished in the thin air. There really hasn't been any opposition figure, like someone that the opposition has coalesced around. So my question for you is, we're now about a year out from the election. It's been 3 years with no consolidated opposition. Where do you see this going? Do you even see a challenge in 2022? Do you see just Varandas running unopposed or running against a bunch of nobodies and getting like 97%? How do you see, the next year panning out? Do you think if Sporting are champions, that doesn't matter because he's safe no matter what? How do you see it?
No, I believe there will be a competitor. And I believe there will be a strong competitor, probably a team that you see, because you're talking about politics, Christian, and it's correct. There are two views of the club, as I told you before, and the view that wants the Sporting as a democratic club for inclusive club for everybody. They want to have they want to participate. So I believe, and people have to always say, Brunistas this and Brunistas that. Well, I don't think that is the point. Brunista is not the point. The point is the ones who were put aside, was put apart, that used to participate, that would like to go to general assemblies, that were proud to go to enter the stadium and feel the club as their own, and they wanted to financially support the club because they felt that it was theirs as well, and the ones that are now in power. So these two will probably again have a confrontation in March 2010. I'm sorry, in 2022, unless the President Varandas, as I hope, wins the championship. So one thing has nothing to do with the other. I hope he wins the championship. We need it. We need it very much for our youngsters, for kids. They want to see Sporting to be the champion. I want to see Sporting again to be the champion. But I believe one thing does not mean the other. Maybe he decided to have elections previously, like in July, August. I don't know. Maybe he wants to create having a good wave in favor. He gets the wave and anticipate the elections.
Listen, I'm taking note of that. I'm taking note of this because it could be a certain thing, in my opinion, because he's a front runner, so he's going to take the opportunity to try to have the election after he wins the title.
Politically is the best moment. Because a new season starts. If the season does not start well for some reason, and then we're going to play the Champions League, we're going to have difficult games. The team is still not very experimented. If the results don't, this has most to do with results. Though in this case, let me tell you, the club is very big, and there are a lot of opinions. And as I say, we have this. I say again, we have these two sides that with completely different views. So, Christian, answering again to your question, yes, I believe there will be a strong competitor and a good team to be on the next electoral moment.
Good point, and that's a good point too. Even as a Canadian, I know very well. In this case, a prime minister taking advantage of a good moment, getting an election, winning, and then another disastrous 4 years. So that is a great point. I didn't even know we can do that at Sporting. Sam, I haven't heard from you in a minute, dude.
Yeah, Bruno, you touched on it earlier, but in terms of since I don't want to just like pin it all on we don't want to have a Varandas bash podcast. That's not what we want. But in terms of since he's taken over, his relationship with the fans has somewhat been a bit 50-50. Getting rid of Juveleo at the stadiums and a lot of sometimes negative comments said in the press about fans. Do you think that will work against him? And do you think a way to word it is just, do you think that he's gone the right way about it, or do you think he's just messed up completely?
Well, let me tell you this. While we were in the board, we always had a good relationship with Diretivo 21, Juveleo, Torcida, and Brigada. Only the good relationship created the possibility to put them all together and gather them all in the South Stand. Okay. This was made at the beginning was difficult, a difficult negotiation, but we all know, and we all in Sporting know, the good that this made to the club. It was a unification. I don't think that the claques or the group of supporters are a problem. They are not a problem. I think they are a plus for the game. They are a plus to support the team. I don't agree when they say that if we had supporters on the club today, if we had spectators, that would be bad for the team. No, it would be good. The team would feel the comfort. We would be there to support. That is what I really think. Of course, last year we had one of the worst, if not the worst, season of our history. Everybody from all stands was upset with it. Has nothing to do with them. Of course, the groups of supporters, they because they are organized and they have their chance, they are the first to start. But the problem is what is disgrace what happened last year. So I just think that the group of supporters are good for the club. I know that many children and youngsters came to support Sporting because of the chants they learn, because of the enthusiasm of the group of supporters. We spent so many years without winning, and was their enthusiasm that many times brought people for the club. So we cannot be we cannot forget this, and we have to give our homage to those people that every single weekend, losing or winning, are there to support the club. So I think Sam, today the President Varandas and his team, what I think happened is that they want to switch the leaders of the Juveleu by their own people. That's what I think. So they put them apart in order to take the strength out of them and trying to replace them. This is what I think they try to happen.
And just
so this is an excuse. The war is an excuse.
Yeah, and just a quick follow-up question on that. Do you think Varandas' relationship with the fans, can it not be fixed? Do you reckon the title sort of smooths it over a bit, or do you reckon there's no chance of sort of 100% like the fans' trust, or just the relationship between Varandas and the fans in general?
Well, fortunately, he doesn't speak much, so he doesn't show up much. So in this, I think the supporters are focused on the players and on the coach. And at the end of the day, this is what should matter: is the players and the coach, and not the board. The board does not matter. So I think Varanda is not an issue. I think what we all want is we are proud of our kids. We are proud of Gonçalo Inácio. We are proud of Tiago Tomás. We are proud of Daniel Bragança. We are proud of the ones of Jovan Cabral that unfortunately is not playing. For me, he should be on the first team. He was the best player on the last 10 games of last season. He decided a lot of games. It was very important so that this coach got also some confidence and trust from the supporters. So I think it doesn't matter much what Varandas is doing, because the supporters are focused on the players and on the coach.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Go ahead, Christian. I don't know if you have a question.
No, I was gonna say you go, Danny.
Okay, perfect. I mean, just sort of on that as well, like as we're switching it to more of the football aspect of it. First off, how do you see? Have you enjoyed this season? As you said, you do hope Sporting is champion. We have hit a little rough patch a little bit. Got it okay against Footense. Do you think, or do you see Sporting doing what needs to be done and end up finishing the season off as champions? Or do you see another? Because I was born in 1995. I started watching football 2004, 2005, and I vividly remember that 2005 ending. And I don't see anything more Sporting than us having to slip away. I don't want to put even that energy out there, but do you see that as a potential with this young team as you mentioned?
We have a young team, Danny, though they are used to win. Daniel Bragança won all the championships, national championship. I believe he was, we call it under 15, under 17, and under 19. So he's used to win. He's passing the end the keeper as well. So I trust them very much. What we have to win is now the game against the Fluminense. And then the other two teams at home. I believe we have still four to home and 3 away, is it? Can you hear me?
Last like 10 seconds was a little staticky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, now we can hear you.
So,
Okay.
now we still have correct me 7 games to play, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, 4 at home and 3 away. So we just need to
And
win.
3 of those are the 3 away, Braga and Benfica, which are huge.
And Rio Ave. Okay.
Sorry.
Right. So.
And Rio Ave, which is also tough.
I remember in the year 15-16, we had 9 difficult games after losing, unfortunately, with Benfica at home. On a game that the referee wasn't right. As you remember, what Renato Sanches did to Brian Ruiz, and he should have been sent off, and he wasn't. Well, let's not mention this. But those 9 games, we had away, Porto away, Braga away, and several other games, and we won them all. In this case, I believe we're going to win easily the 4 games we have at home, and we just need 1 result away. Can be in Braga or can be in Vila do Conde against Rio Ave. I believe when we get to play against Benfica, we are already champions, because Benfica is going to play with Porto, and fortunately, we just need to do our job, and to do our job starts on Wednesday against Belenenses. It's a team that we can, I believe, easily win.
Fair. I had a question, but now I forgot it. So Christian or Marco, I don't know if you guys want to quickly ask one.
I want to follow up on that. So I read an article on worldsoccer.com. It's called the Miracle of Ruben Amorim. So on that, saying that, is it the miracle of Ruben Amorim, or is it the miracle of the talent that was at Sporting in that youth academy that had been built up for the last 6 to 8 years, that we're finally seeing that crop of kids, like you said, Bruno, that won 3 titles in 4 years.
So sorry, Marco. For some reason, I lost the last part of your question. Can you please?
Can you hear me now, Bruno? I think we lost him again.
You gotta give it a minute.
Now.
There you go. Now you can hear me, right?
Yeah, you're good.
Yes.
Better.
So, like you touched on, that group of kids that spent, 4 years winning 3 titles in the youth group. Do you think that's the reason why Sporting is where they are, or is it a combination of them and Ruben Amorim? I've been very impressed with Ruben Amorim and what he's done to motivate this young team. So I would like your thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, I have to say that when Ruben Amorim came to Sporting, I did not believe he could do such a job. I think it was a tremendous mistake to buy
Me too.
to hire a coach for that incredible amount of money. Actually, at the end of the day, with interest and everything, it's now in 14 million, which is absurd. Nevertheless, have to say that he today I feel very happy with the coach. Well, it was a bit disappointing to end on fourth after having 5 points ahead of Braga and losing those 5 points at the end of last season. Then I was also very disappointed to see Sporting being away from the Europa League at home with Las Clins, which was a team that we should have won. But he created a group with experienced players and our youngsters. And for example, I remember we were losing at the beginning of the championship against Gil Vicente, and then he put two players the last 10 minutes, Daniel Bragança and Tiago Tomás, and they created the goal that gave us I believe the 2-1. So I think that he gives a lot of trust to these players and they have the killer instinct. They want to win. They want to play, and they want to be someone on their careers. And now, because they are in front, they have a tremendous opportunity that they're not going to lose. So I think Ruben Amorim also wants to make history in Sporting, and the group that he created, and I see that they are all together, and that is very good to see. So Marco, let me tell you, I believe that finally this year we'll see our club winning the championship. But I also have to mention another thing. In 15-16, the people that were ahead of the referees were completely pro Benfica. Those people are not there anymore. So this is also something that was made by Sporting to say that these people should not be in front of such an important institution as the referees. And this is the sort of things that if they were today, I would say, okay, probably we won't have the same chances to win. But the people that are today are not the ones in 15-16. So I believe they are, how to say, independent and not related to any club. So I believe that we have the chances to win this year, because in 2015, 2016, some guys in the board of Sporting said these people cannot continue. So today the football is cleaner, though all the problems and all the noise that are around, but nevertheless we are much better. We have a VAR, the video assistant referee. We have other tools that in the past, for example, that what I said, the game that we lost against Benfica, if there was a VAR by then, Renato Sanches would be sent off. And these are just one of the examples. So that's why I believe that Mr. Varandas had most of the job was done. So he has the possibility to win, and I hope he wins. But he also have to thank what was done previously.
Yeah.
Well, Bruno, hopefully I'll see you in mid-May, and maybe we can celebrate and have a drink together.
hopefully too.
The question I had also was, if we do win, I mean, Varandas has done a good job, at least in the fans' perspective, of claiming it will be our 23rd title. do you think that there's more to be desired to fight for those, for us to properly be recognized as 22 times champion, hopefully 23 times champion this time next month?
Well, when I was in the representative of the League of Clubs in the Federation General Assembly, I made an intervention. It was in 2017. And following this speech I've done in the General Assembly, the president of the Federation decided, okay, let's create this commission to once and for all to settle if Sporting is entitled or not to these titles on the 30s, on the years 20 and 30s of last century. After this, I wrote several letters and did another intervention on another General Assembly. We have someone that works in Sporting called Paulo Almeida. He made a fantastic study defending our point of view. I know that he also spoke with the current members of the board, and the new board made also another study to increase our point of view. So I think that the president of federation said till the end of the year we'll have an answer. Now I think till the end of this season. We are hoping that the truth will come to surface, and that once and for all, as I said before, the 4 titles will come to us, because it's
Okay, we have him back. Christian or Sam, I don't know if you guys want to give out another. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Yeah, I think we've talked enough about politics and everything, but I just wanted to know I know it might be difficult to look back on it now, but what was your favorite memory of working with and for Sporting? Do you have one that you look back and you're like, that was really good? Do you have a favorite time there?
Well, every day was a challenge.
Mhm.
Every day was lived with great passion. Actually, there's something for me. I've visited many places, been with so incredible people, but I remember going to Núcleo of Elvas, and the man approached me and said, "Okay, I got the jersey of Moraes. I was in Antwerp, and I got the jersey of Moraes. He gave it to me at the end of the game, so I have it for 50 years." And I would like to give it to Sporting. And now I'm talking to you, saying I kept it for 50 years. So the jersey of the man who scored the goal that gave us our international title. So in 1964. And I said, okay. But he said, I want the president here. So I arrived when I got to Lisbon, I said, Bruno, no way we're going to lose the possibility of getting the jersey. So I want you to go to Elvas. You know, Elvas is 200 kilometers. It's close to the Spanish border. So he went there. We went there back. So we got the jersey. And for me, touching that jersey, the man that who scored the goal, is something unbelievable, and now the jersey is in the museum, and I'm very happy to be the person that was the first contact for this moment.
Yes, that's a great story, honestly. Just for reference, I've been looking for loads of like match worn, and I think Christian as well, trying to find really old vintage Sporting shirts, and trust me, it's very difficult to find them, especially over the last few months. But yeah, that's a really great story, and Chris, I don't know if you had a question for it.
Yeah, I'll ask one more question and then we can wrap it. I feel like it's getting a little late in England and in Portugal. Yeah, so I wanted to ask a similar question to Sam's, but more specific to the work that you did specifically internationally. So I know, like, what are some of the places that you traveled to? International nucleos. I know you mentioned obviously Toronto and Newark. I believe there was an academy opened up in Costa Rica under the Bruno Mascarenhas administration. What was your favorite foreign memory of Sporting or introducing Sporting to new people? Some stuff like that.
Several. Can you listen? Because I'm losing the.
Yeah, just a little.
Listen to me.
Not.
You're almost back.
I'm back, or not yet?
Oh, now you are. Yep,
yeah, there you go. There you go.
I'm back. Okay. Well, my idea is we can only grow considering our communities and the people that know Sporting. So my purpose was to create relationships with the countries where we had more power. So in East Coast of United States. So that's why we made this protocol, and which unfortunately I don't see it working on nowadays. I don't know what happened with the New England Revolution. We had a player going from Sporting to New England Revolution.
I remember him.
Yes, yeah. But it was unfortunately it was not the player I wanted to go, but they picked it. Okay, but I wanted Domingos Duarte to go.
Oh Domingos man, that would have been awesome.
Now in Granada, because I think it's a type of player that would fit perfectly on that team and to show exactly what was the skills of a Sporting made from the academy.
I wish he was back at Sporting.
I wish he never left. Then we also made a partnership in Angola with the best team or most successful team in Angola is 1º de Agosto. And because of that protocol, 2 players came, and one, which I think is a very good player, Gelson Dalla, and he never had a real chance in Sporting, but is now in Rio Ave, and is due to that protocol. Okay, and there's another country that has a big Portuguese community within Luxembourg. We also made a protocol with F91 Dudelange, and that club last 2 seasons had access to the UEFA Europa League, so they played twice. So these are the sort of clubs. If we had a better relationship with them, maybe putting 1 or 2 players on loan, they would increase their level, especially this New England Revolution and the Dudelange, and probably would play better in international level. This would be good for them, good for us, and good for our players. Unfortunately, these protocols were put on the garbage by this new board. I don't know why. When things are good, they should be cared, but everything that was made by the former board, they simply do not appreciate.
Can I ask one question? Also, just finishing up. It's more about Sporting TV and the focus that your administration made to Sporting TV, and Sporting TV started getting going. And now, do you see a lost focus on Sporting TV, or do you think this is not something that they want? Because again, it was created by the last administration, and because it's like you said, touching immigrants and touching all these nucleus affiliates all over the world. I think Sporting TV was very important, and unfortunately, in the last couple of years, I've seen the lost focus that has been gone from Sporting TV. Did we lose him?
We might have lost him. Give him a second.
Sorry, I don't know what. I don't know. My internet is with a 5 with a power. Marco, you asked about TV.
Sporting TV,
Yeah.
yes. If there has been a lost focus on Sporting TV, because it was something that was created by the last administration again, and I think Sporting TV was very important. Reach out to the nucleos and give information about the club and the filiales all over the world. Just your opinion.
Was we did dream. Now it became a reality. Unfortunately, it's not doesn't have the viewers that we expected. I mean today, but they're doing their job. They're doing their job. I don't know. I don't see nucleus are also, unfortunately, how to say this. They're being put apart. They're not considered as they were. There was a great connection between the board of Sporting and the nucleus in the past with us. We know them all by the names. We know their families. We know what they did and their work. We were friends. We are close friends, actually. But today they are not considered, and I don't think this is fair. And Sporting TV could be a great tool for the club. A great tool for the club, and it's not being used properly. Probably in the next competitor of Dr. Varandas, we'll try to push again for the nucleus and Sporting TV and the Sporting Gala. The Sporting Gala was also very important for our athletes. Was recognition for the members of the club, was for the nucleus, for the sporting environment, and it's also not considered anymore, which is sad. So hopefully some of the banners will come again.
Hopefully this time next year when COVID's almost all gone. Bruno, we're going to end it off. I just have one question to ask you. We sort of already did our predictions on the last podcast. I want to ask you your prediction on the game against Belenenses Sad coming up on Wednesday. Like you said, you think we'll have an easy win. Do you want to put a score prediction behind that? And maybe who scores?
Well, I think we're going to win 2-0. And I think, it's easy to bet on pot.
Yeah, true.
He's the one that generally scores. And I would love to see Bragança to score for Sporting.
Agreed. I'm taking that. Senor Bruno Mascarenhas, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a real honor and a real pleasure chatting with us. I don't know if there's anything you want to maybe, I mean, we don't have a big audience anyways, but anything you want to promote or anything where we can find you at?
No. It was the honor is mine to speak to you, to meet you personally, and I think you are doing a fantastic job. I was not aware, and now I'll be one of the next viewers of the program. Thank you so much for doing this for Sporting. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. And thank you for all the good work. Marco, thank you for joining us, our good friend of the show, and setting this up. Christian, Sam, thanks as always. Keep riding on. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Thank you, Bruno.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you for coming on. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll celebrate in mid-May. I'm
The
excited.
Marquês.
I'll also
Thank you.
just put out
Thank you.
as well.
Go ahead, Sam.
If you ever come to England, Bruno, the beer's on me. So if you ever come, the beer's on me.
Actually, I was going to Spain here in England, and my flight canceled. Schedule time to time. Let me. Okay, it's Danny and Mark again. Much fun in video. And see you soon. Hopefully all to celebrate.
For sure.
Thank you.
For sure. Stick around just a little bit. Everybody, you know where to follow us at Sporting160_EN on Twitter, Sporting160EN on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. We'll see you soon. And yeah, Viva Sporting.